Hi everyone and welcome to Cryptid Watch. I thought for this podcast I'd do something a bit different. I'm not just going to run this story through AI because it was something personally submitted to me. It was going to be a guest on the show, but this gentleman Todd instead has sent through his story to me. So in this podcast we're just going to read it out in the style of howdone.com, which is a great channel where people send him stories. So without further ado, I just want to jump into this story. It's from Reynolds County, Missouri, or Missouri, depending upon how you like to pronounce it. It was November 24th, 2017, late in the season. I was out hunting in the Mark Twain National Forest down in Reynolds County, Missouri. At the time I was 17 and still living with my parents. I'd set up a small ground blind on our property, tucked into a quiet hollow where deer like to pass through. It was the kind of place you could sit for hours and hear nothing but the wind moving through the trees. That afternoon around 1 p.m, everything felt normal. Cold, still, quiet. I was sitting there watching the ridgeline ahead of me when I heard movement, heavy movement, coming from up the slope. At first I figured it was a deer, that's what you expect out there. So I slowly raised my rifle and aimed toward the sound. Through the scope, I wait for it to step into view. And then it did. But it wasn't a deer. What I saw stopped me cold. Standing on the ridge was something human-like, tall, easily 7 to 8 feet, and broad across the shoulders. Its entire body was covered in long, reddish-brown hair that moved slightly in the breeze. It wasn't shaggy in a wild, messy way either. You could clearly see the shape of its muscles underneath, its arms, its chest, defined, powerful. It just stood there, looking down into the hollow, looking in my direction, but not at me. At least, I don't think it knew I was there. I didn't move. I barely even breathed. Every instinct I had told me to stay completely still. This wasn't something you take a shot at. This wasn't something you even want noticing you. For what felt like forever, but was probably only a few seconds, I watched it through the scope. Then, just as quietly as it had appeared, it turned around and moved off along the ridge, disappearing back into the trees. No sound, no crashing through brush, just gone. I sat there for a long time after that, trying to process what I'd just seen. I knew one thing for sure, that was no animal I'd ever been taught about. About a year later, I was back on my parents' place for a family get-together. It was late at night, and I'd just finished watching a documentary about Bigfoot, trying in my own way to make sense of what I'd seen that day in the woods. On impulse, I stepped outside. The night was quiet, pitch black beyond the yard. And for some reason, I decided to try a call I'd heard in the documentary, a long, drawn-out holler. At first, nothing happened. I stood there, feeling a little stupid, honestly. Then, from somewhere out in the darkness, it answered. A deep, powerful call echoed back through the trees. My heart dropped. I ran back inside and told my sister, but like most people, she didn't believe me. So I had to come outside with me. Just listen, I told her. I did the call again. We waited. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes. Then, it came again. This time it was closer, much closer, and deeper. Way deeper than anything human. You could feel it in your chest. We stood there frozen, listening, as something big started moving near the tree line. You could hear the weight of it, branches shifting, something large stepping through the woods. It wasn't trying to be quiet anymore. It was coming in to check us out. We didn't say a word. We just stood there staring into the darkness. Then suddenly, a branch came flying out from the trees and landed near us. Not dropped, thrown. That was enough. We went back inside. I've thought about those two moments a lot over the years. What I saw in the scope, and what answered me that night. Whatever it wasn't just some animal passing through. It was aware, curious, and a lot closer than most people would ever believe. Now that's a great story. I hope you enjoyed it. What is notable to me about this is going back later, about a year later, he's watching a Bigfoot show, probably something like Finding Bigfoot, and he thinks, hey, just as we'd say in England, just for a laugh, he goes out and he does a call. I asked him, I think he said he just, did a whoop or something like that, whoop, and the call comes back at him, and then as we saw, the thing starts moving in to check them out, and then ends up throwing a branch at them to say, hey, get away from here. But it's a great story, and I feel like there's many stories out there that have not been told. I almost always on the comments, I'm looking through videos, my channel, other channels, and I'm seeing story after story. And if you have a story like this, please get in touch. Shoot me an email to christianwildfoodbushcraft@gmail.com. That's christianwildfoodbushcraft@gmail.com. I'd love to have you on the show. If you don't want to talk, I understand. You can just send me the story and I'll read it out for the viewers. But I really hope this channel helps people to tell their stories, to get it out there and help other people. Not every Bigfoot story is somebody seeing a friendly forest giant. A lot of these stories can be quite traumatizing. People can wonder what they've seen. They have family members even that will disbelieve and ridicule them. And it just helps to come on the show and talk about it, or at least get the story out there. And to hear other people say, you know what, I've experienced something very similar. I've seen a Bigfoot. I've seen Sasquatch myself. That goes for America. Even more so, that goes for here in the UK, where we do have our own version of Bigfoot, the woodwoes. People do see it. People do have experiences with this creature, and even more so, they are very affected by it. They don't want to seem crazy because our country is a lot smaller than the United States, but yet we have enough habitat for this creature. This creature has been sighted by credible witnesses. It's been sighted by former members of the military. It's been sighted by the head of the Center for Fortean Zoology. Lots of credible people. I've had my own experiences. My background is studies in zoology and biology. I'm going to very soon do my certification for forensic hair analysis to help me as a cryptozoologist. I've had my own Class B experiences that really made me think, yes, we do to this day have our own version of Bigfoot alive and well, which is called the British woodwoes. So I'm going to look forward to collecting more stories from North America, even from Australia. If anybody's listening, please send me your Yowie stories. You might be from Kathmandu and you have a Yeti story. I don't really mind. It's all about sharing these stories of mystery primates and other cryptids, thylacines, big cats, other mystery animals, and definitely more stories of the British woodwoes, which is a story which has not really been told as much as, the North American Sasquatch has. So please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. I'm very happy. We've gone well over 20,000 subscribers, but we just need people to really watch these videos. YouTube won't let you make any money out of your ads until you get a certain number of watch hours, which I'm struggling to do for some reason, and that means over my 500,000 views, YouTube's getting all that money. I'm not getting a penny, and I hustle hard. I work a day job. I do this for passion. I spend many hours making my videos, whether that's analysis videos, podcast videos, expedition videos. It's really a labor of love, but I'd like some compensation just for the fact that it would help me to do more, make more videos, better videos, buy equipment for expeditions. At the end of the day, give you a better product at the end of it. And you know, I dream of being like Sasquatch Chronicles or Sasquatch Theory, where Miguel even goes out himself. There's plenty of other channels that inspire me, Thinker Thunker, Small Town Monsters. But I really, my passion is to get out in the field and be able to fund expeditions, looking for the woodwows where I live and further afield, looking for sea serpents. We have those down here, alien big cats, other cryptids, traveling even to different areas of the UK and eventually overseas. But I can't do it without support, so please do like, share and subscribe. The link for the merch is in the description. If you can, please buy some merch, support the channel, do what you can. It'd be really appreciated. And at the end of the day, it's going to make the channel bigger and better for you. And you know, my hope is to do some real cutting edge investigations here in the UK, especially for cryptids that have not been investigated thoroughly, like the Cornish sea serpent or the British woodwows, and hopefully get some real solid evidence, audio recordings, thermal imaging, video, track casts, etc., to try and document the fact that these animals are real. And please be part of the journey with me. It's not just about me, it's about everybody that subscribes to this channel. We're all part of something together. So thanks a lot. I'll catch you soon on Cryptid Watch for the next podcast. God bless you all.